Hi there, I'm Miranda and I am with YWAM in southern Spain. And if you are a leader in your YWAM context, then this little video is about an opportunity you might be interested in. So looking back, I remember when I first started leading a team. Obviously, by that point, I'd been around other leaders for several years and I'd seen modelled some different ways of leading. And some were good and inspiring and others were not so good. I'd done a 3-month training in leadership where we learned quite a bit about the character of a good leader and some project planning skills. And still, when I actually found myself leading a team of people towards a particular vision, I often felt as though I was making it up as I went along. Maybe you've been there. Of course, I did learn on the job. Many good things got done, some great team relationships were formed, and the team grew, and our capacity grew with it. I grew a lot as I was stretched in some new ways. I began to see how the things I intuitively knew about leadership, as well as some of the leadership skills I'd learned along the way, how they looked in practice. And I also began to see that a theory of leadership that sounds so reasonable and straightforward when you read about it in a book is never as easy to put into practice. So let's talk about that for a minute. What makes our good ideas about leadership difficult to put into practice? Obviously, maybe most obviously, being a leader means working with people. And in my case, probably yours too, that means that I've worked with people from cultures that are different to mine. And they've had different ideas about what I was meant to be doing as their leader, different expectations of me. They've had opinions about how communication should work within the team and the sorts of communication they could expect from me. And as well as different cultures, of course, we've all had different personalities. And this brought a whole slew of other expectations about what was normal and reasonable and what wasn't. And then add into this different attitudes about me being a female leader. That was a whole lot to think about before we even got to achieving any of our projects or goals. And over time, these different dynamics affected me as a leader. In some ways, they affected me for the better as I grew to understand more the practice of leading. And I learned more than I ever could have learned in a book, obviously. And in other ways, the dynamics affected me more negatively. I modified my behaviour to fit what I thought was expected of me without necessarily having the insight to process what was happening on the inside. Maybe I didn't modify my behaviour in some cases, and I wasn't open to change in the ways that I could have been or should have been. So where was I reacting to the people in my team out of my own unhealthy tendencies, and what were the knock-on effects of that in myself and these relationships? And where was I responding according to positive motivations, and so I could be confident and at peace in those relationships? Few of us have people in our lives who can help us to process these questions about our internal and relational movements. And over years of leadership, we can accumulate a few habitual behaviours, if you like, that may or may not be helpful. We have our way of doing things. And perhaps we observe the effects of these behaviours on other people and we're not sure what to do about it. Or maybe we're not sure anymore how to invite God into those places in our lives where we're figuring all this stuff out, or even what he thinks about our leadership. And perhaps, and likely, we have blind spots that everyone on our team is aware of except for us. So that's normal. So in short, after a few years of leadership, it can be really helpful to stop and reflect on all of this, and especially to reflect alongside others who can validate our experiences and offer some insights that might help to move us forward. The leadership development course has been designed for exactly this kind of experience. It's a 6-week residential program for people who've got 5 years or more of leadership experience There's no upper limit to that. And over the course of the 6 weeks, we look at topics, for example, personality, team dynamics, communication, and many, many other topics. So we do teach particular skills that are designed to help you in your leadership. And yet the LDC is about much more than leadership skills. Really, it's a place to reflect on the whole of your life as a leader. So maybe you've neglected your health because you've been so busy and traveling all around the world and you're not sure what to do about it. Or maybe your personal times with God have become a bit stale and you don't know how to find your way back to the freshness that you enjoyed in earlier years. Maybe you've lost hope in a particular area of your life as a leader and you need the encouragement of praying people around you. And hopefully you've got many, many things to celebrate, and it would be nice to have others celebrate alongside you. So the LDC is about learning, and it's about much more than classroom learning. I suppose I would call it a formational experience. So you have lots of time for personal reflection, alone and as part of the creative workshops that feature every week. And you will meet with a one-on-one every week, as well as doing lots of group work with other participants. So this is a very relational, fun-filled time, as well as offering a ton of material in the form of tools and manuals that you'll find helpful in your leadership. There is space given to reflect on the past, to identify really what we've learned and how God's been working in us. And there's also a lot of time to seek vision for the future. And with that future emphasis, once you leave, you'll have the option of continuing to meet with a coach who will help you to walk out the things that you've been learning during the 6-week LDC. So we're offering this LDC from the 27th of September to the 7th of November this year. And you'll probably be very glad to hear that it's taking place in the south of Spain. We've still got a few places left on the course. So if you're interested and you'd like some more information, you can message me on here, or you could also contact my teammate and friend Barbara. I'll pop her email in the comments below. We'd love to have you take part in this with us, and I'm absolutely convinced that you wouldn't be disappointed. So have a think about it and get in touch if it sounds like it's for you.